channel, and today we're just going to quickly go over the Harbor Freight catalog. But another thing I really want to focus on is their new additions for Cordless Tools. They have Hercules, Bauer, and Earthquake XT, and they're all cordless tools now. I think Bauer has been around like a month or two more, but don't quote me on that. But Hercules and the Earthquake XT cordless tools are like the big thing that's going on right now. A lot of do-it-yourselfers and even professionals are purchasing these to compare them to the brands that they compare them to. A lot of the time they'll compare their tools to Snap-on, saying you'll save this much money and this is the power and everything that you get. Well, it's really weird because you can find a lot of reviews on these already on YouTube, but I just wanted to discuss, kind of put my 2 cents in, and then hopefully you guys can share if you have any experience or just what you think of these cordless tools. Hercules is compared to DeWalt for their cordless tools. Earthquake, as far as their impacts and their Ratchet, the cordless version, they're comparing them, I believe, to Snap-on, but they look more like Milwaukee tools. They almost look identical. And then their Ratchet from Earthquake looks like the AC Delco one. And then Bauer is just kind of their own thing. I'm not going to discuss too much in that, but we're going to get into this catalog and then we're going to talk about those. So please stay tuned, and I really hope you guys enjoy. Keep in mind, I'm just going to show you the things that I have personal experience with or have seen or heard people talk about of a bad or good experience with other things. I'm going to quickly go through the book and kind of point those things out, but I'll spend just enough time for you to get a quick look at the actual pages so you can look at everything else even if I don't mention it. But if you guys enjoy it, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and as always, subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thank you guys. Okay, YouTubers, so here's the new month of Harbor Freight. Up here, right in the corner, they have a coupon for free microfiber towels, a pack of 4. That's pretty good. They usually sell them for like $8 to $12 or something like that. And then the jack, you guys already know, I've had really good experience with that. I've heard a lot of people commenting on my previous videos that they've had no problems with these, and mine's held up really well. Here they have one of the Earthquake XTs, their 1/2 inch impact, and the Hercules cordless drill. But we'll get to those later on in the video. Nothing else I really want to look at here on the front. But then here I have heard that the Daytona jack is also really good. No real issues with that. It runs $179 right now. Then these work gloves, they always seem to have them on sale for $10. That's a pretty good deal. Most of the time I like to stick to nitro gloves, but I always like to have a handy pair of actual mechanics gloves as well. Ammo cans are always really handy to have around your house if you're trying to keep things organized and stuff like that. I've had good experience with my stepper bit. I've used it a few more times and it's still holding up really well. Obviously, any drill bits that you get from Harbor Freight, whether they're stepper bit or normal drill bits for wood or metal or anything, they're more for do-it-yourselfers. They're not going to last as long if you're a professional and you end up using your drill bits a lot. Here they have their infrared temperature gun running at $20, which is fine, and you can find different versions online for about the same price, if not cheaper, and they work just fine. I have one and mine works great. Just some compressors, the 301 piece mechanics toolkit. This is a great kit for a beginner if you're not trying to spend a whole lot when you're first starting out. $159, and it does come with a good variety of stuff. Now just keep in mind that they're not going to be the best quality, but they're going to help you get those jobs done when you're first starting out. Here they have a 37 piece 3/8 and 1/2 inch drive SAE AM metric impact socket set for $25. That's pretty good. Harbor Freight does actually have some decent impact sockets. They seem to hold up for people. I've seen a lot of reviews of toolbox tours where people actually have those and they've held up really nicely. Another thing that I heard but don't have personal experience with are these winches. People actually say the winches from Harbor Freight are actually pretty good. Here they have the 1-ton foldable shop crane or cherry picker for $129. That's a really good price. I have the 2-ton, I believe, and I got mine for $149. Great. So, not going to go over a whole lot, just going to give you guys enough time to see what's actually in here. Not a lot has changed from month to month, except for those cordless tools. Some generators and stuff like that. Don't have any experience with those either. Here's more of their whole variety of different winches and everything, ranging from, you know, $140 to $400 or $700 if you get the big 18,000 pound capacity one over here. Here's just their kind of car cleaning supplies, which is actually pretty decent prices. Bunch of bungee cords and stuff like that. Sorry, I'm skipping through a whole lot of this because you guys have already seen, most likely you've already seen my previous ones where I've spent, you know, 30 minutes going over these, so I'm not trying to spend forever. The ratchets, I actually have a few here at home and they've held up really well, so if you're a do-it-yourselfer, these work great, or if you're just starting out, you can get these and then invest in some good quality tools later on, or you can just put that money towards a better set. But their breaker bars are actually really good. They're half-inch comfort grip one. A lot of people actually like this. It holds up really well. There's a comparison between it and the Snap-on Matco and all of those, and it actually holds up really well. So once again, you just got their pass-through socket set, which I actually enjoy. Some of their sockets are okay. We're not going to get into that plier set. You guys already know how I feel about that. I do know a lot of people have the nut drivers and they enjoy them. I just don't get them because I don't like, you know, a full set. I usually get the ones where you can just quickly attach the nut driver head. A couple of the screwdriver sets are decent, but you got to be careful which set you get. Their socket rails for $10 are actually really nice. I use the half-inch rail for here at home, and I actually really like those rails. They are the plastic ones, but they don't have the full tang or the part that the socket sits on, so you don't have to worry about really snapping it off as easily as some of the other brands. Their wrenches, I wouldn't really, you know, suggest to a professional unless you're going to be cutting them down for like a specialty wrench where you need like a stubby big wrench. Like I said, the impact sockets do really well, and they're always really cheap at Harbor Freight. Then here you got their digital calipers, which are actually pretty accurate and really cheap. Unless you're a machinist and you deal with extreme accuracy, these will get you by. Here's just some pry bars, axes, chisels, stuff like that. Their clamps, their C-clamps are decent. I've used a couple of them for brake jobs here at home. But the plastic style ratcheting clamps, I would not suggest. I have a couple and one of them broke the first time I used it building this bench actually. The ratcheting mechanism just gave out on it and it wouldn't clamp down on anything. Here's that 301 piece set again for $1.99, but you can get it cheaper as you saw at the beginning. Ammo cans, like I stated, really good to have. Some small toolboxes and carry bags and stuff. Their toolboxes have actually really increased in quality. Now I'm not saying they're the best quality, but for what you're paying, you're actually getting a pretty decent box. Both do-it-yourselfers and professionals starting out have used these boxes and they work just fine. Especially once again the 5-drawer service cart, people love that. You can get it on sale for I think $149, so you can always wait for that. It's always going on sale. Then you got this Yukon over here that's going for $300. It's very similar to the Husky, but I got hands on it recently and it really doesn't even feel as quality as the Husky. So for about the same price, you could just get the Husky one. People do like the Rubbermaid little service cart, and the metal one, you can adapt them however you want, so that's pretty nice. Their jack stands are usually pretty good prices. I don't have any experience with the aluminum jacks, just their, you know, normal heavy duty jacks, whether it's low profile or the normal, they work fine. I would not suggest these plastic creepers. You guys have seen mine and I absolutely hate it. It's always bottoming out when I sit on it, and it never rolls the direction I want. Once again, they have the 1-ton and 2-ton cherry picker and the engine stands for about $50 to $60, so that's a good deal. Grease guns, if you don't use it a whole lot, these will work just fine. I have one here at home. I did have it leak once, but I haven't had a problem with it yet. I I wouldn't suggest this brake bleeder. I have one very similar and the piston gets stuck in it. But here's a pneumatic one and the Mighty Vac hand pump one, and these are, I've actually heard pretty good about. I will probably go with the Mighty Vac version of the pneumatic, but it runs around $100 to $150. Over here you just have a slide hammer. These are decent slide hammers. You just need to, if you can, open it up before you purchase it, or when you get home, go ahead and check and make sure all the threads work with the slide hammer. And if it doesn't, make sure to take it back and get one that does. Once again, nitro gloves, really good price. I've had good luck with sizings. Some people have bought mediums and they've been larges, and larges and they've been mediums, but I haven't ran into that issue yet. Their battery jump starters and stuff, I was very questionable on these styles, but I've actually heard quite a few people comment about them, and they actually work really well, whether it's this or another brand that you find online. Then you got your 3-in-1, 4-in-1, and 5-in-1. I've heard good things about these, and they're really decent prices. Once again, the battery load tester, I wouldn't suggest it. I would suggest getting the digital one, if anything. Yes, it's about 3 times the price, but it doesn't hurt your battery like a load tester does. Here they just have some scanners and inspection cameras and stuff like that. Some safes and security stuff for the house. They got super glue there. I always pick up little things like that just because it's handy and really cheap. Some lights. You guys know I have the underhood light. I picked mine up for $27 because it'll be on sale for $30, and then you can use the 20% off and get it for like $27. And it has worked great. It's rechargeable. It's got 2 light settings, light or bright and low. Another thing I'm looking at is getting one of these, because right now I have these cheap free ones that I usually try and use for suspension work, but they tend to fall off and I can never get them angled right, so I'm thinking about purchasing this one on a swivel. They're pretty cheap, $10, and you can replace the batteries. It's not like a one-time use kind of light or anything. And other brands sell them from like $20 to $60. So I'm going to try that out, and I'll let you guys know how I like it. The heat gun, people have said they're decent. Now if you're like a professional vinyl wrapper for cars, probably not the best. But if you just need a cheap heat gun for random little things around the house, people have told me that they work good. I wouldn't suggest this little light system down here. I have one here in my shop, and if I turn them a certain direction, they cut out. Here's just some welders. As you guys know, I don't have experience with welding, but the welding helmets, people have always told me that they're good. People say that the quality of these welding carts are actually pretty decent, and they're a cheap price. I have heard a lot of bad things about the vices, about them cracking when you tighten them down too much. Some people say, you know, as long as you're not too rough on them, they will last. So that's really up to you guys to decide. These wire brushes, the wheels are actually pretty good, $5. I always pick up a set. You know, I think I got 2 sets here at home just because they're handy. Just some of their cord tools and stuff, sanders and buffers and polishers and all of that. Some more of their cord tools and their cheaper Drill Master, Cordless Tools, and Chicago Electric. Their air compressors are questionable. Some people say they work good as long as you really maintain them. Some of them said that they've had horrible luck with them. But here's more of what I really wanted to get into today, was the Earthquake XT lineup of their cordless tools. Here they have the cordless 1/2-inch impact wrench compared to the snap-on. Here it shows it's $250 compared to the $665. 0 to 1700 RPM, 7.1 pounds, and 4 amp hour battery, and 1200 foot-pounds of, well, probably breakaway. And then they have the Cordless Ratchet as well. Right over here, you can either get it individually and buy the battery, or you can buy the set here. Then they got their smaller impact, their 3/8 cordless, and you can buy batteries individually. Then more of their impact sockets that I already discussed with you guys. Just some shop equipment and stuff like that, some nail guns. Some paint guns. These are more for a do-it-yourselfer. A lot of professionals don't like them because they clog up real easy. They don't have a good spray to them. But if you're just doing small things around the house, they will work just fine. These are questionable. Sometimes people have had really good luck with them and had them for years and they work great. And then some people have had them for a month and they break down. So it's really, I guess, luck of the draw. Some air hoses. And then here's their comparison of their Hercules Tools compared to DeWalt. Here they say, 0 to 2,000 RPM, 576 inch-pounds of torque, 1 by 2.5 amp hours, 3.6 pounds, and included drill and screw bits, yes, okay, for $100. And then they got the battery packs and drill bits for them and all of that, some angle grinders. And here's their 1/4 inch impact, their drills, all of that, some prices, about $110 to $120. And then their Bauer, they have a 1/4 inch impact now. I haven't seen that before. I don't know if you guys have, but it kind of looks like a funny shape, but I haven't really heard much about Bauer. And then here on the back they just have another Bauer on discount for $60, some nitro gloves, and that's basically it. But now let's get into the discussion about Hercules and the Earthquake XT new cordless tools. I'm just going to get into a real quick discussion, just a couple minutes, on the Earthquake XT cordless tools and the Hercules cordless tools that just recently came out. Go ahead and check out some reviews if you're interested in them. I guess there's some pros and cons to them. I mean, one being you could possibly save a lot of money if you're a do-it-yourselfer. I'm not too sure how professionals would feel about this, not because these tools aren't strong, because I've seen reviews and they are actually pretty comparable as far as power to some of the other brands. But my question is the quality of the internals and the batteries. I've seen comparisons of the Hercules to the DeWalt as far as speed and power, and they seem to be pretty decent. And I've had my hands on both the Earthquake XT and the Hercules cordless tools while I was at Harbor Freight recently, and they feel decent in the hands, not as of quality as the other brands, but pretty decent for the price that you're going to be paying. And as far as power, they seem pretty good. But are they going to last as long? The warranty as well. You have to purchase the warranty with them there, and I think it's just a 1-year warranty. Whereas if you go DeWalt, Milwaukee, Rigid, they all come with like 2-year warranties or lifetime warranties and stuff like that. And the batteries, they've put a lot of time into these battery packs on DeWalt, on Milwaukee, all of those brands of cordless tools. They've really spent a lot of time on them. And nowadays the batteries are lasting really long. They don't have any memory save, basically no matter how many times you charge it, it does a much better job of keeping that charge and holding it. Whereas the batteries at Harbor Freight are extremely cheap, especially for the Earthquake XT cordless ratchet. It's $20 for a little battery, like the M12 battery pack, for what you would get with Milwaukee. They sell them for 20 bucks. And they just look and feel extremely cheap. I'd be afraid that I'd have to buy multiple batteries and end up spending just as much on batteries as I would just going out and getting the well-known Milwaukee cordless ratchet. So personally, I would probably just go with the Milwaukee cordless ratchet over the Extreme Tool or the Earthquake XT cordless ratchet, just because it looks and feels good, but it really just looks like a knockoff of the AC Delco version, but still really good price for what you're getting, I believe. And then as far as their impacts and all of that, the reason I would still go with Milwaukee over these Earthquake XTs, because you're really not paying that much more, you're getting a better warranty, and Milwaukee has done a good job of making tools that are going to last a really long time. So with that, I guess we'll tell with time whether the Earthquake XT cordless tools are really going to hold up, as well as some of the well-known brands. And then as far as the Hercules, it basically looks just like the DeWalt's, just blue. Once again, the batteries definitely look cheaper. Stuff like that. You know, it's not really a big deal. It just depends on what kind of work you're going to be doing with them. If you're not going to be using them a lot, I think you're going to make a smart decision in purchasing a Hercules or Earthquake XT over their Drill Master series or Chicago Electric series. It's going to be better quality than that, but if you're already spending that much, granted they're comparing it to DeWalt and Snap-on and Milwaukee, I really think for that extra, you know, $20 to $60, you can get that good name brand and still be happy. But if you're trying to save yourself some money and you're not going to be using these a whole lot, I think they'll do just fine. But please, let me know your guys' input. Maybe you guys have actually purchased them and have used them. Maybe you're extremely happy with them, or maybe you've already had a bad experience with them. So please let me know. And if you haven't used them and you've just seen them, please still let me know what you guys actually think of them. So personally, I think they're good for do-it-yourselfers. I think they're a good price. My question on it is just how the batteries are going to last, and are the tools themselves going to last as long as some of those other brands where you're just going to pay $20 to $60 more for something that you've known and trusted for years. So once again, thank you guys so much. Please let me know your opinion on these tool brands that they just came out with, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and as always, subscribe if you're not subscribed.